Hello and welcome back to the Brew Bowl. It's time for our quarterfinal summary, so let's switch across the report and see how it all looks. So we've now completed our quarterfinals round, and looking at the results, we had the Kodiaks beating the Drakes, the Gladiators beating the Hammerers, the Coatls beating the Warrior Priests, and the Harbours beating the Pantry Raiders. So for me, as a person running the league, all three of my NPC teams were knocked out. A really tough match for the Drakes. I think that they had some luck whether or not go their way. I think the Warrior Priests got absolutely destroyed by the Coatls, including having a couple of deaths. The big surprise to me was definitely the Gladiators beating the Hammerers. I really thought that the Hammerers had that one, but things went Hammer's way, as we'll talk about. And finally, we never really expected the Halflings to do well, but they certainly gave it their best, and but they were defeated by by Lawson's High Elves. So looking at our remaining teams still in the league, or the teams that were left in this round, the Gladiators picked up Block on Nerepoli, their thrower, also increased their fan factor. So quite an expensive team going into the semi-finals. I do expect we'll see some cut in the team, or some changes to the roster, focus on that team value, but we'll see what that looks like when we actually get time for the match. Hondo the Mads team, the Axolotl Coatls had their 4-1 win over the Warrior Priests. Absolutely destroyed their opponents. Did pick up Pro on Not Tiny, making it one of the most expensive players in the game now. Otherwise, no major changes for this team. The end of all their Kodiaks, which of course is Dynamis' team, beat the Drakes 2-1. Drakes had terrible luck, but also Dynamis played fantastically. Unfortunately, lost one of his linemen for the next round, Sigmarsson, although only with sure hands, not a fantastic skill for a lineman. I don't think he really plans to give linemen the ball too much. And also picked up Mighty Blow on one of his Ulfanar. The Harbours, our other victory team, they have lost Mako the Immortal to injury for the semi-finals, which is quite big for Lawson. He starts to have another black blitzer as well in the form of Familiar the Scarlet, but he also decided to fire his unskilled lineman and hire a new lineman where he made a good role and managed to get Pro on that lineman as well. So he will go in with some inducement funds into the semi-final round. The Hammerers, who were knocked out in their 2-1 loss to the Gladiators. Only real change for this team was picking up tackle on their Troll Slayer, but they'll be ready for their redraft. Or if I don't think that Spoon is redrafting the Dwarves. So this is how the team looks at their conclusion of their 3-season run. The Drakes picked up Catch on their War Dancer, who's got a ton of skills. This team is knocked out now. They've also done 3 seasons. If they do return, it's unlikely we'll see a return of Midi or Dade because they're going to get really expensive, and Wood Elves are already a very expensive team, and they're going out with no win funds to help them go to the next round. And really, it was not fun playing Wood Elves this season with no re-rolls whatsoever, so it would be hard to build a team out of what they've got, but we'll see if the Drakes do return in the next season. The Pantry Raiders took a missed next game to their treatment. I think that was actually due to sponsorship issues rather than due to injury. Not that it matters because their season is over, and because all missed next games will recover for the following season if the Halflings return once again. Did also take an injury on on their catcher and picked up Block on their Hefty, which was a random secondary. And the Warrior Priest really had a tough time. Their Ogre and their Catcher both killed in the match. Tried to Apothecary the Catcher, and it didn't work. So down to positionals. They have been effectively neutered. I do not think we'll see this human team return for the next season. They did pick up Dodge on a lineman, which is a good skill for a human lineman. But I think it's probably too late. So looking at the players themselves, really there's been almost no change here. So other like some stats have gone up, but in terms of actually changing of the order of people, passes, scorers, interceptors, casualties, and most valuables really had no change. On the casualty side, Not Tiny has equaled fourth with Fazieth and the Cleaver. However, we remove, even though those players no longer in the competition, they stay on there as they were the first ones to reach that milestone. So if Not Tiny goes up in casualties, he will push them down and remove the Cleaver entirely from this board. For good, because the Cleaver is drafted away and high different team. Although we did see here, no, Not Tiny has jumped onto the cost board now in third place after picking up Pro. So yeah, he's pushed the other players down and jumped straight all the way up to third from off the chart. Oh, so sorry, I don't know why I went back there. Let me go forward again, and we will go on to the semi-final matches. So, 2 matches to play still. We have the Gladiators going up against the Kodiaks and the Quaddles going up against the Harbours. The way we've organised this is that in the quarterfinal and final rounds, we use the higher seeded team as the home team. And the semi-final round, it's the lower seeded team as the home team. So the Gladiators and Quaddles will get home matches against their opponents. Looking at their numbers on tour play, Gladiators are 9.9 to Kodiaks 10.3, so only 0.4 in it. I really don't know how this match will go. I sort of have who I hope will win, but I don't know who will actually win this one, because they're both great players, great teams, relying a bit on luck here and there, but I mean, what game doesn't rely on luck? So yeah, I'm going to see how this match goes. I don't really have a pick as to who will win this one. Then we've got the Quaddles and the Harbours. The Quaddles on 8.4 in tour play, the Harbours on 8.5. So literally 0.1 stat difference in it, and because that is skewed by the fact that the Quaddles have only once or in one game thrown fouls, and the Harbours have thrown a lot of fouls. So yeah, I think honestly, I think that Pondo will probably get this one. I think that, especially playing against him with the Warrior Priest, he has the ability to capitalize on any error. Just the speed of those skinks at 8 speed, without sufficient tackle on the board, it's going to be really hard to manage. Even though Pondo still tends to run as many big guys as he can and as few skinks, he has enough skinks in there to capitalize on any mistake. So although it's very, very close, I personally think that Pondo will win that one. So that is the end of the summary for the quarterfinals. The semi-finals matches will be coming very soon. In fact, probably, as I'm uploading this, probably the same day on YouTube as well. And we've got them scheduled one day after the other. So we'll get through the semi-finals very quickly, and we'll move on to the final round after that. So hopefully you're still enjoying Season 3 of the Brew Bowl. It's almost done. Guarantee one more season to go, and then we're going to try a new project. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on YouTube.